Another good question here, which actually I don't think we've got an answer to it, but it leads to another discussion, and that is when will the Canada line be opening? I don't believe we've actually made that official announcement yet.
Well, it's still being finalized, but what looks for certain, it'll be sometime in mid-August range. With the train will probably run in the first few weeks of the middle of August to the end of August by itself, without. If the regular bus service is there, great, people hop on the train, connect. September 7th will be the new changes. We know that's the date for sure, for the new changes where the bus routes are going to change to fit the Canada Line opening. So there's a Coast Mountain Bus Company's team has been doing a great job trying to create those alignments to get ready for it, and as they always will, they'll deliver. And so September 7th is the full change of the bus integration with the rail line, and so I'd say mid-August so give me a few days on either side with all the teams' work.
But it's interesting too that we bring that up because the opening of Canada Line, when it is going to be a launch, but it's going to be a lot of fun because people are going to want to have that first opportunity. And in Seattle this past weekend, they opened the new rail link on the Sound Transit rail link to SeaTac Airport, and that was they had 50,000 people out there for that.
Yep, I expect we'll see some of that same type of interest in as well. And so it's not every day you open a Golden Ears Bridge.
Exactly.
You saw where it's oversubscribed. It's not every day you open a $2 billion line in any region, right? So it deserves to be celebrated, right? And so and it's not mine or yours or anyone in government. It's the taxpayers, right? So they should go out and celebrate what they've funded, right? So.
But it was very impressive, the way that all of that worked, and it was I mean, the media accounts that I saw and the reports I got from people who went to Seattle to check it out, is that it went beautifully. And a lot of it was because it's a really good attitude on the part of the people and a really good attitude out there, and something well worth looking forward to.
And you'll see that here for the games. People's attitudes are different. And I say this, frankly, as a skeptic. When I was in Calgary, this is it's a soft, fuzzy thing, but I think it is worth sharing. It is unique. When I was in Calgary, there's a sense of after all the work has been done, it's time to launch and celebrate to the world. It's like you're having these VIP visitors come to your house, like the Prime Minister coming to your own personal house. And you go, wow, you got to be ready, you got to be on your game, it's exciting. And people want to run and say, oh, did you see the Prime Minister, etc. It's a bit like what's going to happen here, except for it's the world coming in. You're going to see perhaps the Putins coming to town, and the Obamas coming to town, whoever they are, those world leaders, and rock stars, and all kinds of people put on the entertainment, and whoever they may be. And so it's a great celebration. Actually, you gave me goosebumps in Calgary. I said, okay, well, that was just because I was maybe young at a different time in my life, and it's the first time I've ever seen. Then once you know it, lo and behold, I experienced it again in Salt Lake. Right? And I was going as an observer, an official observer.
Wow.
Then I experienced it again in Turin, Italy. So I'm going, this is not actually unique. This is actually the way it is. And I talked to others. They saw the same thing. You're going to see the sides of buildings lit up with shows on them, on the side of the whole building. There's going to be so many things you will not see again, that it is actually a very exciting, unique celebration, beyond fireworks, if you will.
Right.
So get ready. Strap in. It's going to be really exciting. It's we also, in the business we're in the logistics, we're in the problem-solving business, and with it comes weather, right? So we have to be realistic about weather in this region. As you say,
there is the possibility it will snow, and snow big time, which is a situation that gives me the screaming memes personally, because that's been the past few winters.
Yeah. Now the good,
so you overlay that onto the Olympic transportation thing.
Yeah. Well, we've gone back, and there's sort of statistics of weather, and then there's how do you handle it when it hits, right? I think there's a whole lot of things that came out of last winter that we learned from that we're doing differently, on the rail side, on the bus side, on the regional side. Firstly, I think if you take the month of February, firstly, I think we have to plan. There will be some snow. We're in the winter. There's probably logistical. The question is how much and how often. So we've actually gone back, and we worked with Mark Madriga and pulled the different weather charts out for kind of by day over those same Olympic periods. And I think going back the last 10 years or 15 years, I can't remember what it is now. And actually, the amount of snow in that period is actually quite consistently small, except for one year we had a pretty big spike. So that's the one year we got to plan for the games, right, or beyond. But I think we need to plan for the December that happened last year for 18 days, almost parallel to 18 days of this Olympic period.
Right.
And we've gone through a lot of the cities, the city of Vancouver and others, are upping their snow removal budgets. The buses can drive only as good as they're cleared to go.
That's right.
So, and I think if those who've lived in other cities in North America or where it snows a lot, like as I know I have, it's you can't just shovel the snow off in the corner. You actually have to truck it out and remove it. Yeah. That's what all the other eastern cities. When I lived in Halifax, man, they get a lot of snow there. You got to remove it. You can shove it off for a while, but at some point, someone's got to take it somewhere, right? So those are some of the things, City of Vancouver, and I know Coquitlam, talking to the mayor there, they've increased their snow budgets, et cetera. And I'd encourage the residents to phone their municipality and make sure that they're doing their part to be ready for these games. And that's a key piece that only the municipalities can actually take a leadership role on, because it's their responsibility. We will run the buses. For the overhead trolleys, there'll be plans to have the trolleys running throughout the night to keep the wires from freezing up and, where you have problems. We, on the SkyTrain side, we will be running trains all night long. We always do. Even from last year, and comparing last year to the year before, there's very few times that the trains were actually running pretty well the whole time.
Right.
We had a few spots where we got into trouble, but they really got people ultimately where they need to go, whereas historically, they may have actually shut down.
We've also developed a new way of protecting the switches from freezing up and the slush getting into them too, because that was an issue.
Yeah, on the SkyTrain side, there's probably two key issues that probably hit us. Well, actually, three. Firstly, we had 5 trees that fell across the guideway. Right. So we've actually taken an arborist. We had an arborist in the past. We've gone through and let's get those ones that are in that higher risk category out now. And so we've done that over the summer. So now you have to find them. Which ones we took out? No. The other thing is that we have what's called loops, that how the communication of the trains, because it's automated, talk to each other throughout the guideway. If you actually looked out the front window of the train, you see these loops that cross over back and forth over about 30 miles. And so we've actually had some faulty loops where they're over 25 years or connected together, and we've had some of those faults go. And the second, because it's a safe system, if it's not talking to each other, it defaults to a place of safety, which is a good thing, which says the train's not going. I can't talk to you through this wire anymore. I'm now defaulting to a safe place called shutting down.
Right.
So we've just concluded, in fact I found out this morning, we had over 100 of those things that were at their life cycle. They've now been updated and completed. Wow. So that's going to help significantly in our, I'll call, resiliency to keep the system going. The next one that you outlined, Drew, was really around these switches. So you go, well, freight trains can deal with switches. Well, in the last winter, I can tell you right now, Canadian Pacific Railway and CN, they had switches in the same weather would stop their trains from going. So it's not just, gee, it's a SkyTrain, doesn't run in winter kind of thing, or West Coast Express. Train switches can have a problem for everybody. But what we will do is we will actually have people at the key switches where the train, as it travels, builds up underneath its underbody. It's kind of like a car, the back of the wheels with the snow. And it builds up, then it goes over the bumps of the switch, and then it drops the snow between them. So we only can have a couple millimeters between the blade of the switch and the track. So you can't. That's not a lot of space.
No.
So we're looking at alternatives to either eliminate them, to torch them, to melt them. Because remember, the next train's coming in 108 seconds.
Right.
You don't have a lot of time to fix this. It's not like it's between freight trains, which might be 20 minutes.
That's right.
Right. So the next train's coming less than 108 seconds. So we've developed some mechanisms and in key places to actually deal with that.
Okay.
So we're feeling pretty good.
Good to know.